Look how far we've come, all the things we've done. Did it all with love, beauty from the bottom up. All I want is you, you're my favorite view. But there's nothing more, girl, you made my heart beat.
All right, so I asked you guys in the Discord to send in some of your most your honest versions of you being manipulative, and like what was your manipulative traits and how did you use it so that we could have conversations about manipulation. And I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger.
Do you want to know what one of my manipulative traits used to be?
Sure.
Crying.
Yeah, I would believe that.
Yeah.
I would believe that.
Yep. I would start arguments, and then when I realized that the person was actually mad at me, then I would start crying. It's taken a lot for me to actually cry from emotion.
Instead of manipulation.
Yeah.
I hate everything about that.
I know. But it's honest. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because I believe that crying is weaponized towards men.
Yeah, I was that person. I was taught that shit. Like, that was one of those. You know how families have heirlooms? I was passed down manipulation.
I hate that. I hate everything about that. All right.
We're just going to jump into it?
I'm just going to jump into it. These are the examples that were posted in the Discord.
Okay.
Whoop.
So the first one says, can you guys hear me well enough? Should I move the microphone this way a little bit?
It looks good to me.
All right. I wouldn't give my person space. If we were in conflict, I would continue to pursue them and try to solve things right then and there. While not intentionally manipulative, it would trigger a more serious outburst from them and cause greater conflict. I think a lot of people do that. A lot of people who have anxious attachments, who have abandonment issues, view that as an innocent thing. Like, I'm just trying to make sure that we're okay, without recognizing that what they're doing is very manipulative.
There's also the how dare you walk away from me mindset.
Yeah.
This isn't resolved yet. Get back here. We need to finish this right now.
Yeah.
That manipulative situation there speaks to a multitude of things, but the two biggest ones are I'm not going to give you the opportunity to catch your breath.
Right.
I need this to be resolved right now. Mm-hmm. And if you're not okay and we're not okay, I can't be okay. So make us okay.
Right.
So there's like a quiet desperation in that for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now it's too far away. Move it closer. How about that? Can you hear me now?
You're fine where you are, babe.
Okay. You bitch, he's doing that shit on purpose. What a fucker. It took me a second. You saying not giving them room to breathe, that's almost a torture tactic.
It can be.
Yeah.
It absolutely can be. But I think that in doing this and in releasing this later, the people who have either experienced this or done this and not realized that has been a thing, they'll now notice it because it's been verbalized.
Right. New perspective.
Right. And that's what I was hoping for. So.
All right. Next one says, I would know I wanted the relationship to end, but I didn't want to be the one to end it. So I would act out until they left or did something in retaliation and then leave them because of that retaliation. That
is cowardice.
Ooh, I used to be that person.
That is the definition of cowardice. It's also, I don't want to be the reason that somebody else is hurt.
Yeah.
But you're going to hurt them either way. And it's now I can be the victim. Right? Because now they're going to hurt and they can't be mad at me because they're the one that caused the hurt. Instead of just going, hey, like, you're a dope fucking person.
It's just not working.
This just isn't meant for us. Like, I wish you the best in life. Let's go be friends. You know, I understand. Like I said, you're going to hurt somebody either way.
Yeah. Fake crying was a big one. On a phone call, I got pissed off that I wasn't winning an argument. I would start fake crying on the phone and then hang up. Then waited for them to call back and apologize so I would be the one to win. Holy shit.
There are men out there who fall for that dumb shit.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy. I mean, good on you for admitting that. That's a lot of growth.
Yeah.
To recognize that you used to do that. But that is definitely like, what is it, DEFCON 5? When shit's getting serious?
Yeah. I actually think
man.
I think it, doesn't that number go down?
Does it?
I think-
DEFCON 1?
I think it goes down. I could be way wrong.
Either way, there's fire alarms going off right now. We need to
Yeah.
evacuate the building.
This is the shit that a lot of men deal with, though.
Yeah.
People will fake cry because they know that men are fixers and want to fix the situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's why the first time you started crying in front of me, I didn't know what to do. And like,
Yeah.
when I realized that you cry about everything, it changed the way that I viewed it. But the first few times that you cried in front of me, like, I had to really question if you were trying to manipulate me or if this is just who you were.
Yeah.
And luckily, I saw you cry in other scenarios that had nothing to do with anything, and I was like, okay, she's just a crier.
Yeah.
But if you never cried until you got emotional and then you started breaking down,
Or we were in an argument.
I wouldn't have tolerated it.
Yeah.
I would have dipped. Like, that's just not something that I'm willing to
deal with.
endure.
Yeah. Ooh, endure. That's a good word. I want to comment on that earlier thing that I said where I used to be that person who would cry for manipulation. I would only cry in arguments. Otherwise, I would cry behind closed doors because I view that as weakness. I didn't want people to use my insecurities or like crying during Marley and me as ammo
Yeah.
against me.
Welcome to manhood.
Yeah.
Zach said, you hang up on me, I'm 100% going about my day.
Yeah.
I would too.
Yeah.
I would too. And then when they call back, you're going to voicemail.
Yeah.
I'm going to
We
be.
had an opportunity.
Yeah. I'm not doing that.
Mhm.
That hanging up on me shit is real.
Yeah.
I feel like that's almost as bad as being spit on.
Really?
You can't even give
Same
me the
level of
yes, I
disrespect.
fucking feel that way.
Okay.
If you can't even go, hey, I'm really emotional right now, I'm getting elevated, or fuck you, I'm hanging up, I'll talk to you later. If you just hang the phone up while we're just, even in a normal conversation, you better fucking call me back and be like, I lost signal.
Yeah.
That
Fat
disrespect
thumbs.
is loud as a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. DEFCON 1 is highest. Yes,
Oh, you were right.
I was right. TV for the win.
All right. Next one. One of mine that I've really had to work on is doing a bunch of chores, getting angry that my fiance didn't do anything. Then, even though I didn't communicate that I would like help to tackle the tasks, then throwing it all in his face to get him to feel bad and hope he got the message. I had the mentality that he should just know.
Okay,
That's
so I don't
another
think
big
this one
one.
speaks to manipulation. I think this one speaks to growth. Right? Because if you realized you were doing that and you're not doing it anymore because of this situation, you were hoping that he would catch the hint. Like, yes, you were trying to manipulate the situation, but he wasn't catching the hint.
Right.
You were wanting him to read your mind. Like, I don't know. That one doesn't feel like manipulation to me. It feels wrong. Shitty behavior, absolutely. Lack of communication and a whole lot of other things, but I don't think that's a manipulation tactic.
Here's our first disagreement.
Yeah?
As a
well,
woman-
tonight. First disagreement tonight.
No, tonight. Yeah. I'm pretty proud that we can disagree on things and still have an understanding of each other.
Well, this is how we challenge each other's thought processes. So
I love
how do you
it.
disagree?
As a woman, I do view that as manipulation
Why?
because this person could have just said, "Hey, I need help with this."
Right.
This is the dropping of the hints, and I can't believe he's so blind. And I believe that is the talking into victim mentality and hoping that eventually they'll pick up the slack. And if they don't, well, fuck them.
Right. Well, and I agree with all of that, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
see how it's actually manipulating the person to do what they want them to do. Because she said hoping that he would get the hint or they would get the hint that he should just know.
The throwing it in his face to make him feel bad is what makes me feel like that's
Okay, I agree.
manipulation.
I do agree with that.
So,
But and hope that he got the message is where
Right.
they lost me.
yeah.
Because yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. In this situation, you are right. That throwing it in his face
I was like, there's
to
something
make
that
him-
was said.
to make him feel bad is manipulation because
Yeah.
you're trying to, guilt trip them into doing what you're doing. So I do agree with that. I don't I think it's more shitty behavior and childish. I think that it's one of those things that's really fucking stupid when you read it out loud.
In the past, I would manipulate and control every aspect of a situation so that it fit my narrative, down to controlling every person involved in the situation by manipulating the information they were given about a situation to try and steer their perspective so that the outcome was in my favor. Ooh, man. I destroyed relationships and almost my marriage over this. I played the game of, if I tell everyone involved my side of the story, it is in such a convincing way they'll be on my side.
So you were a liar.
Right.
I destroyed relationships and almost my marriage over this. I
Yeah.
played the game of if I tell everyone involved my side of the story in such a convincing way, they'll be on my side. So not only are you lying, you are manipulating the people around you and playing a victim all at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest toxic one yet.
Yeah, that's some of the foulest shit I've ever experienced. I also used to be that person. If I got ahead of it, they'll believe me.
Right. Well, if you tell your story before everybody else does, the other people have to go on the defensive.
Right.
Well, that's not
and
really
try
what
to
happened.
prove it wrong.
Please hear me out. Like,
Yeah.
it's a bullshit mentality. So
Yeah. That is why I now do everything through text message.
yeah.
Because that is written receipts. I have experienced the ending of a relationship and having that person go and tell everyone that I called them a whore and a piece of shit, that you've called them a see you next Tuesday,
Yeah.
just to try and get ahead of their own foul behavior.
But in the grand scheme of things, does that really matter?
No.
Because if you believe that I'm that type of person, I don't need to try to convince you otherwise.
Right.
Just go get fucked.
Just believe it.
Like, right. I would rather
I wouldn't want you in my life anyway.
Right. I would rather you just get away from me.
Yeah.
I don't need people. I want them. And there's a difference there. So
Good on you for working on that and not being that person anymore. Next one.
yep.
Hiding in closets and then getting upset that he didn't come find me. Oh, wow. That's more than just walking away. I hope you search the whole house looking for me.
What are you, 6? Like,
Right.
we play it in hide and go seek, and I don't know we're playing.
Peekaboo, bitch.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's some really childish behavior on that one. What do you? Excuse me, ma'am. Down. We are working.
There's so
Down.
much childhood trauma in all of these.
Yeah,
And
there
it
really
breaks my
is.
heart. Really breaks my heart. I used to be that person who would walk away from a conversation in the hopes that they would chase me because they love me. Like that's all in every single movie. She walks away and he loves her enough to follow her. And I would base my relationships on the premise of fucked up people writing movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane to me.
Next one.
Yep.
I think my manipulation tactic is to get extremely mad and emotional when I want to shut down. The angrier I get, the faster people disappear. I will flip over the smallest change that impacts my already overthought day. I don't think that's manipulation. I think that's emotional dysregulation.
Depends on how it's being used.
Oh, that's a good point.
If this is the conversation of you didn't yell because you got angry, you yelled and used your anger as a reason for it.
Yeah.
You already wanted to yell and act up, and
Yeah.
you're just allowing your anger to be the justification for you to behave in that manner. I want to go back to the hiding in closets thing.
Oh, okay.
You know, when I was a kid, I would do shit like that. Disappear and wait to see if somebody would come find me.
I would do that.
And there was
too.
like am I loved? Am I missed? If I ran away, would
Will they
anyone notice?
recognize?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Would they even notice if I'm not here?
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of trauma in that.
Okay, next one is I've gotten in the car and drove off and turned my phone off so that my person would worry about me and apologize.
Wow.
I've done that shit too.
See, those are behaviors that are like ending behaviors for me.
Yeah.
That whole worry about me and apologize, like that is a like fuck you. That's not going to be a thing
Yeah.
because of my motorcycle accident. If I'm supposed to be somewhere and I call and somebody doesn't answer the phone and I call again and they don't answer the phone, I get enraged because of that scenario of like this happened to me.
Life or death.
And when I actually needed my people, nobody would answer the fucking phone.
It would take 2 phone calls. I usually don't pick up on the first call because I think it's a scam.
Right.
Why do you have my number? But if that same number calls back within a minute, I'm answering the phone.
Wait. Before we move on, can we just talk about the flawed logic of the person would worry and apologize to me?
Oh yeah, that's definitely a fantasy.
Right? Like I would be mad. Like if you turned your
Yeah.
phone off and stopped answering and I got worried, I'm not apologizing.
Where the fuck are you?
Yeah,
Why would you do this?
Right. We're about to have a whole fucking falling out over that. And then afterwards, then we still have to pick the conversation back up. Because you getting mad and throwing a temper tantrum and doing that doesn't negate the fact that we're in conflict and there's not been resolution yet.
There's now a new conversation to be had.
Right. You've just made things worse. I fucking hope to God that person doesn't do that anymore.
I agree. I wanted to touch on that. Getting in the car, driving off, and hoping that they worry about them. I was that person who would allude to, I'm about to off myself, and it's because of you.
That's fucked.
And then I would either block them or I would turn my phone off to make them feel guilty. I was a really shitty person. I'm glad you got me at this time in life.
I'm fucking glad I did too, because I wouldn't have tolerated any of that.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have had a conversation about it.
No. And then I would have blamed you for leaving me. All right, next one is, I used, it feels like you don't love me. One day when I'm dead, you'll regret everything you ever did to me and realize you were part of the reason I'm gone. I was very drunk. He told me I needed to have an abortion. This was an ex. Jeez.
So this isn't something that you would do on a regular basis. This was a one-time thing because you guys were drunk and fighting. I don't really have anything on that one because that was a one-time thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's... I mean, if they did that shit on a regular basis, I would want to talk about it. But, one time while we were drinking and...
Trying to force me to kill my baby.
Yeah.
Next one. I think for me, I tend to get real petty towards people once I feel like they've talked down on me.
Ooh.
Well, what does petty look like? Because if I feel like someone's talking to me like I'm less than human... Oh, I can see being petty as being manipulative, because I would just walk away from that person. You're showing me your true colors. Everyone else will see it at some point.
See, I gotta be honest. This must be a toxic trait for me.
Being petty.
This must be something that I'm still about.
Yeah.
Because I will treat somebody differently once they've disrespected me.
Oh, I do that too. But is that petty, or is that treating them the way they have presented themselves?
Is it that they disrespected you, or that there was malicious intent behind their actions? Because it's not the same thing.
Oh, I agree with that. Disrespect could be
not wiping your shoes before you come in the house.
Right, not done on purpose.
Right. It could just be one of those things that they didn't know any better. Or maybe they're just brash individuals. I'm brash. People think that I'm disrespectful sometimes. I like to believe that overall I'm a very respectful person, but I may not understand your boundaries or know them. And if I don't know them and I'm disrespectful, what I was going to say is the difference between the disrespect and malicious intent. If somebody is intentionally trying to be malicious to you, or they're intentionally being disrespectful, coming outside of their neck, whatever, and they're doing it with the intent to harm, that's very different.
I agree with that.
I'm not tolerating that shit at all. So being petty in that scenario may look like a whole slew of things. It could be as simple as me cutting you out of my life. It could be me trying to establish dominance and prove a point that you're a fucking moron.
Yeah.
If we're in a social situation and that happens and I have the ability to berate you and make you feel little after doing that, I will.
Me too.
And then I'm going to sever ties with you after I embarrass the fuck out of you, because embarrassment and pain are the two greatest teachers.
Yeah.
You don't fucking learn in a day.
Right.
Okay. So I guess that I still have that toxic trait.
No, I get that. I still have that. I'm petty as well. After being in Thailand and using that bidet, I really feel like a peasant wiping my own ass. I really think we should invest in one of those things. Next one is, I would get caught doing something that I didn't want to be caught doing, and I would debate them out of it. I would gaslight them until they doubted something, anything about what they found, and then I would go in for the kill. I would turn it around on them and continue until they were apologizing to me for accusing me of something. I've done that.
It's crazy.
I was that person too.
There are people on the internet who will tell you that you are a narcissist for that.
I was 100% a narcissist. I was a really shitty person to be with.
That's not something you just overcome.
What do you mean?
Like if you were extreme narcissistic, like actual NPD diagnosed, like somebody's actually clinically certified you as, you don't just wake up one morning and get over that. Like it takes a lot of fucking therapy and a lot of work and like want to change.
I don't think that I was NPD diagnostic worthy, but I definitely had high narcissistic traits. There was also an instance where a different ex and my sister were getting a little too buddy-buddy one night for my liking. I would not let the ex be alone in the apartment with my sister, our roommate, or be in the same room with her without me, even in the living room or the kitchen.
That's control.
I do view that as control. I don't think that's manipulation. I think that's grasping at control.
How she went about it could be manipulative.
Oh, that's true.
But that situation is just controlling.
I would do something, walking on the line of a boundary, and not think anything of it. Then tell them they need to tend to my emotions instead of theirs when they would get upset, because them being upset would make me upset just because mine were more important. I was also that person.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's the people who have that situation is the people who, when something's brought to you, you get defensive and turn it around on the person that brought you the problem.